Bro. Uehara. How could you mess up in such a spectacular way? Oh my god. Like, out of all the things you could have said, out of everything that you could have said, you had to say, I'm choosing you. I'm gonna laugh my ass off if this man was, like, playing Pokemon or something. I will laugh so hard if he says, like, he's playing a game and we find out it was, like, a Pokemon game or something, and that's why he said that, and he accidentally, like, pocket dialed or something. Still, just like, oh my god. Like, this man just made a big mistake. Just massive misunderstanding, and I'm like, oh god. Like, how can you... Okay, so with that being said, this episode of Gamers brings back the misunderstandings. Now, depending on your viewpoint, like I've said earlier on in this series, how you feel about the misunderstandings will determine if you will like this episode or if you hate this series and should probably drop it. So, the episode has a whole new area of misunderstandings, to multiple personalities, to saying, oh, I'm someone else even though I'm not them, to, oh, I'm choosing you and I want to be with you instead of someone else, to, you know, other things going on the side, little tidbits here and there. Just, there's a lot of misunderstandings, and the episode was very enjoyable. It was. But at the same time, though, I feel very upset because some of it was interesting the way it was handled, but at the same time, I'm like, oh my god, please, just make sure you talk this out. Please talk this out instead of leaving this hanging for a while. For instance, let's talk about the beginning of the episode. So, the first, like, 2 or 3 minutes of the episode until we get to the opening song is spent on Chiaki actually figuring out that Amano is the person that she's been communicating with on her game, and also the one that's been sending her kind reviews on the games she makes. And I honestly understand how she feels, actually. When I upload videos, when I post comments or post on social media or whatever, and I see how you guys support me, help me out and all of that, basically, I can understand how much that can affect her when someone's just cheering her on and supporting her. It makes you feel good. You're like, oh my god, like, someone really cares this much to do that. And so I understand why Chiaki was acting like she was in the first couple minutes of the episode, because she just didn't know. Like, oh my god, she just met someone that's been helping her out in dark times. She probably would have given up if it wasn't for, you know, Amano constantly sending her sweet and kind messages on the site, but also playing games with her and all that and being very nice to her. She probably would have given up a long time ago. So we do know that Amano's had a very big role in her life, and now she is aware of this, but she just doesn't really know. She's like, oh my god, like, what do I do? What do I say? So it makes the first part really sad and tragic, because as we know, Amano's already in a relationship with Tendo, and as we know, Tendo's the MC, so it's common sense that when everything is said and done, just if we look at the track record of other series and stuff that's very similar to this, he's gonna end up with, you know, Tendo. It's common sense. He will end up with Tendo, because she's the main female character, she was the first, and that's just the end of it. Which makes me sad, because I really like Chiaki. I wish she could actually be with, you know, Amano, and stay with him, and that could be the end result of the series, but it's probably not gonna happen, which makes me sad. So, after the opening song and all that in the first sequence, we go into the misunderstanding. So, basically, you have this big segment with Amano and Chiaki. They meet, they start to talk, and as we know, Chiaki, she knows, but you have Dora Amano, he is unaware still at this time. He doesn't really know at all. Events pass forward, you can see the way Chiaki acts as a character. She's very awkward, and she's someone that really doesn't know how to act around Amano now, because after finding out the truth, she doesn't know how she could treat him. I mean, should she treat him like, you know, she's been treating him? Kind of like, you know, really mean and evil, even though we know she cares about him? Or should she actually treat him like, oh, she's falling in love with him and treat him very nice or something? And she was conflicted in the episode. And you can see the way she was acting and all that. She really didn't know what to do. And eventually he came to her house, and the situation went from, like, awkward to, like, oh, crap, I need to say something. And since she's very socially awkward, she doesn't really know how to communicate properly. And also, she finally met someone that has been supporting her for so long. She was very embarrassed, and so she made up a lie. Her sister that was there, that was obviously, let's just be real here, she was definitely doing some 18+ content stuff going on there. Let's be real here, we know what she was doing. Even though the show implied it, and it's obvious. I mean, she was playing an 18+ game, she was sweaty, breathing heavy, she was just in like a jacket. We could see she had like no bra on, no pants. It's common sense, okay? You can put A and B together and figure out what's going on. Just the points, they add up. But basically, she's sitting there laying in bed. She was taking a nap because obviously she was exhausted after playing her 18+ game. And so eventually, since she was there, you have Chiaki's like, oh yeah, she's, Mono and all that, and also Nobe, that is, who it is, who you've been playing with, or, you've been playing their games. It's my younger sister. And so the situation became a big misunderstanding. And Amano's overall viewpoint on that was very fascinating too, because after the sequence was done, he's like, I feel like it's not, Mono or Nobe. I just can't see Chiaki's younger sister being those two, or that one person, because all I could see, Chiaki's younger sister as is the younger sister, nothing else. And he is definitely smart. He definitely knows something is going on, but he has never had to experience it. And since, like I've said, he's socially awkward, all of our characters are socially awkward, he doesn't really know how to view it, or understand what's really happening here. And so he has no idea. And Uehara, he's like the only one that kind of understands what's going on. He's able to piece things together. And the sad thing is, he was the one that caused a very big mistake at the end of the episode. So we'll see where that goes. Regardless, though, Amano has definitely showcased that he is trying to learn quite a bit. He has definitely moved up from beta status to alpha status, especially when you look at how he's been acting in this episode, to previous episodes and all of that. And I mean, especially how he was just talking to, Chiaki and all that, just being straight up with her. And then even when he was just talking about how, like, oh yeah, your body, you look like your skin, it just looks like you don't go outdoors much. I'm like, oh my god! Like, the way he, complimented, or I guess he didn't compliment her, because it's not necessarily a compliment. He was talking about her skin, and then he talked about his own skin. I was like, oh my god, I feel like I'm getting, like, shouted at right now, because I know for a fact I am not as tan as others, because I, sit on the computer quite a bit, or play games a bit, or make videos, and so I'm definitely nowhere near as tanned as others can be. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I feel like this show just insulted me in a way. I feel like it did, but you know what? Let's roll with it, because it's a really good show. So I believe with this episode, it was a decent episode. It had some good character development and characterization, good misunderstandings, but if you don't like misunderstandings or you're getting tired of them, then you're probably not going to like this episode. I do hope that the misunderstandings aren't dragged out too long, because that would be a bit of an issue, but we'll see where it goes. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I love you all so much. Please be safe. Chibi out.